All right. Good Monday. Good Monday to you, folks. I hope you're ready to have a great week this week. And what I've tried to do in this pre-drive challenge is I just finished the book, as you know, Flip the Switch, and it'll be out January 31st. Many of you are purchasing that book, pre-ordering that book, and thank you for that. We're going to have a chance for you to pre-order it today. But when you write a book this big, there is a lot that you have to say, and many times you kind of get caught talking about the same things over and over and over, which are big themes of the book. So what I've tried to do for this 5-day challenge is actually pull out parts of the book that I don't talk about a lot, that are in there that are very important to this. So this 5-day challenge will be 5 straight days, every day at noon. I'm going to teach about 20 minutes, and then I'll give a chance to take 2 or 3 questions. And then obviously, you know, if you're in a lot of our things, many of you of our clients, this just gives you another chance to even get additional coaching with me, because the one thing I know about pre-drive is it has to be activated every day. And, you know, you hear me say King David was a great king until he stopped going into battle. And a lot of people stop going into battle for whatever reason. They stop pursuing, they stop following up, they stop doing things that they used to do to make them successful. And to me, everything is initiated with the pre-drive. Nothing happens until the pre-drive is activated. Okay, so today's topic is going to be pretender versus contender. And this is a whole chapter in the book. And when you think about this pretender, I don't want you to think in terms of fake. I want you to think in terms of just kind of playing at an amateur level versus a professional level. I don't want you to think, well, I'm a fake. I want you to think, man, I just haven't made some key decisions to play at the pro level. I want to make pro money, and to make pro money, I got to kind of leave behind my amateur desires, and I got to make a decision to go pro. And so today I'm going to look at just a few things. One, the habits of the top performers in the world. And then I'm actually going to give you about 7 or 8 things that are signs that you're still playing at the amateur level. You're still just making kind of amateur decisions. And a lot of people believe they're playing at a pro level until they get around a pro, until they work around a pro, until they see a pro work. Okay. So all of this from the new book, Flip the Switch. Goal: 5 days of pre-drive activation. My goal for this is to get you activated to go into battle every single day, and to get you to remember this word: pursue. Pursue dreams, pursue deals, pursue opportunity, and keep pursuing until you bring it to a close. Okay, there's one thing that drives me crazy is when people leave open files. It's actually called open file syndrome. It's where you open a file, but you never close the file. So it's just out there in the world and you never bring it to a close. Pre-drive is pursuit to capture. Okay, it's pursuit to capture. That means you go all the way until you have this deal across the finish line. Okay, and one amateur move a lot of people make is they converse a lot, but they never convert. There's a big difference between talking to people all day long, conversing, and conversion. And conversion is you talk with intention to convert. The purpose of this phone call is this. The purpose of this meeting is this. The purpose of me following up with you is this. There's an intention here. See, the amateur kind of dabbles with that. They talk a lot, they have ideas, but they kind of live in a world of fantasy world. I kind of call it a fantasy world where they just live in ideas, but they never really act on those ideas. I'm okay if the idea is wrong. I would rather you take action on an idea and be wrong versus not take action on it and be right. Okay, so here's the problem. The problem is people have not activated their pre-drive, or they don't understand. It's dormant, or life has literally knocked the pre-drive out of them. Now, could there be a part of a person that just doesn't even know how to follow up properly? And the answer to that is yes. What I'm finding, the more I coach people, is things that I assume to be common, like follow-up. Like I assume it to be common that people would follow up until they bring something to a close, but I'm finding the more people I coach, the less common it is. It's like they don't know how to follow up until they bring close, or they've got some kind of consideration. And the consideration is, I don't want to bother them. I don't want to seem too aggressive. Well, you can't help another person until they commit to something. And you can't lose something you don't already have. Okay. So if you're scared of following up with the person to bring it to a close, many times they would be appreciative that you actually followed up to bring it to a close. Okay. Jeff Breeden, some of your comments there as you're getting contracted over on the insurance side. I told John Wetmore, I said, we need to do a session to teach all of those people how to follow up correctly. Right. And it occurred to me that maybe they don't know how to follow up correctly. Maybe they don't know how to pick up. Maybe they don't know how to, right? So I feel like sometimes in life, we think people know how to do something, but they don't. Like, what is the difference between an amateur and a professional? Okay. So we're going to cover that. So today we're going to cover the pretender versus the contender. And like I said, don't think of it as you're a fake. Think of it more like you just haven't made this important decision. And you haven't backed that decision up with commitment, with time, money, energy, resources. The word decide is to kill something off, right? The word decision means to cut something away. So the pray drive is I'm going to follow up to help you make a decision. The reason I'm following up, the reason I'm so persistent, the reason I'm so consistent is that I want to help you make a decision, because I really can't help you until you make a decision. Okay. So you may still have some amateur desires. My buddy Chuck McDowell calls it, you're not touching the line. And I see this every day. People just don't touch the line. Remember back when sports, when you had to run sprints and there would be some players that didn't actually reach down and touch the line. They come up about a foot short, but they would beat other people, right? But they didn't actually touch the line. Well, the pro touches the line. The pro goes the extra step. The pro doesn't dabble. Okay. So let's just look and review for just a second the habits of the top 1% of performers. These are the contenders. And as I give you these habits of the top 1% or attributes of these top 1%, I want you to just ask yourself, what are you missing here? What are you missing here? Because when I coach people, I'm like, that dude's got great connection skills, but lousy follow-up. Or he's got great follow-up and lousy connection skills. Or he's got grit and resilience, but he don't have remarkable boldness. Okay. So let's just step back and let's say, what does a contender look like? Number one, they have remarkable boldness. And remarkable boldness is the ability to lose fear and consideration. It's the willingness to just go for it, to have no fear, no worry whatsoever of including people, asking people. If you could ever teach, Kyle Licklider, if you could teach your agents how to do this, how to remove this fear and just to ask the question, man, think about how powerful that is. Okay. So they're remarkably bold. Remarkable means striking. Boldness means fearlessness. They are without fear. That means they're not afraid to ask for money. They're not afraid to go for the deal. They're not afraid to go for the close, to bring something to an end. They're not afraid to make posts. They're not afraid of people like them or don't like them. They're remarkably bold. Habit number one. You see any top person you study, they're remarkably bold. Number two, they have deep intrinsic motivation. This is what I would refer to in the book as because goals. They've got big reasons for wanting to see something through to its conclusion. And maybe that big reason is they want to be the best at what they do. Maybe they want to be considered the best. Maybe because somebody didn't believe in them. Maybe because somebody made fun of them. Maybe because, I'm not sure what their because goal is, but that's where the intrinsic motivation comes from. Okay. It's not necessarily money, although some people are motivated by money. The greats are really motivated to be the best. And I was watching a video today of a woman singing at an award show. And I was watching the other artists watch her sing. And man, they were just sitting there like, you could tell by their reaction to her, they were thinking in their mind, man, she's good, right? See, the top players recognize this in other people. It's like, man, they got a deep drive. Man, they're good. Man, they're good at what they do. And there's a respect level between the top players because the top players are consistent, reliable. They show up right. They got a deep intrinsic motivation. Number three, this is really what separates a lot of people: connection. How do they make people feel? How do they make people feel? When I'm with you, how do I feel about me? And this is something that can be learned. Okay. Learning to connect with people, body, mind, heart, and spirit is a very valuable skill to have. Connection. Why people feel connected to you versus other people. See, every day you're out there competing versus people. Okay. I just booked a speaking engagement today, and it's me and Tom Ferry. You guys know Tom Ferry, which is a real estate guy. And it's for people who spend over $10,000 a month in marketing and advertising on radio. So it's all the big players. Okay. So they bring all these big players to Nashville. It's going to be Tom Ferry in the morning, me in the afternoon. And I text the guy who got me the engagement, and I said, it's me versus Ferry. May the best man win. May the best man win, because that day people are going to have a choice. They're going to say, I like this dude or I like this dude. Okay. And it's going to come down to one thing: which dude makes them feel a certain way. Everybody see that? That's what it's going to come down to. At the end of the day, how do I feel when I work with him, and how do I feel when I work with him? Okay. And that's just what it comes down to. Connection. The way you become famous today is not how known you are. It's many times how many people feel connected to you. How many people feel like they can connect to you? Okay. Number 4, grit and resilience. Grit and resilience. You can't keep them down, man. The top players, you cannot knock them down. They have developed a concept of themselves that cannot be broken by other people. It's not, Brock Zavon, that they don't get knocked down. It's that they get back a lot faster. See, the top people, it's not that they don't take a hit, they don't take a blow like everybody else does. They actually take big blows, but they get up faster than other people. The disorientation period of being lost and confused is much shorter for a top person. So they take a hit, it's like that old saying, they take a licking and keep on ticking. That's what these people do. Like they take a hit, it's like, all right, what's next? Okay, they just keep moving. Okay. And number 5, and this is the one I really want to focus on today, is the ability to lock in and see something through to its conclusion. Okay. Now, you guys know we're in this campaign to make this book a bestseller, and it ain't easy. I'll be honest with you. It's one of the hardest things from a business standpoint. Getting people to buy individual units of a book sounds easy, right, Paul? It sounds easy. You would just think everybody would buy the book if they thought it could help them, but that's not how people think. So I was in San Antonio last week, and a person kept saying, oh, it's got to be an easier way. There's got to be an easier way. There's got to be an easier way. And I said to her, look, there is not an easier way to this. The way I'm doing it is the way it has to be done. Okay. Now, if there was an easier way, I would do it. But there's no easier way other than doing Zooms and coaching sessions and speaking engagements and database blasts, and right? Like, our mind wants to look for the easier way. But sometimes in life, there is not an easier way. It's like, this is the way you got to do it. Okay. So the question becomes, once you set a target, do you have the toughness to see it through to its conclusion? Okay. And I'm telling you, as a coach, many people do not have this. Okay. They do not have this toughness. They start, and when times get tough, they fall off the wagon. They do not see it through to its conclusion. They do not follow up 7 to 15 touches. They do not stay in the game long enough. They want to jump around from thing to thing. Okay. So they're really lacking this one ingredient of the top performers. Okay. And so how do you give a person this ability to lock in? So it's like this: I set my mind to it, and man, I'm not stopping until I see it through to its conclusion. Okay. Whatever that thing is, we're going to make it a Wall Street Journal bestseller. We're going to get on a big stage. We're going to generate $20 million. It's like they just have this persistence in them that you can't keep them down. Now, I want you to type in a chat box, from those top 5 habits to the top 1% of performers. Where do you feel like you struggle the most? Where do you feel like you struggle the most? Okay. The top habits of the top 1% of performers. Okay. Now, this is giving us good feedback. Boldness, that's good. Connection, lock in. Okay. Chris Marks, right? Kim Nagy, good. Thank you. See what I'm showing you here is if you wanted to be the habits of the top 1%, I'm not just saying habits of the top 1% of money earners. Okay. 1% of the money earners is different. And I'm not saying because there's 1% of teachers, there's 1% of firefighters, there's 1% of police officers, there's 1%. These people will never be most likely in the top 1% of money earners, which typically takes about, I don't know, I think last year, the top money earners in the United States, top 1%, earned $547,000. Okay. Now, 2 or 3 years ago, that number was 357. Last year, it was 547. The top 1% of money earners in the United States earned 547,000 last year. Okay. But what I'm talking about are just the habits of the best people in the world. Okay. Now, when you sit here and you go, okay, I need to be more bold. How do I be more bold? Well, it's like putting your business on the street. It's like being out in front of people. It's like, hey, I've got a message. I'm going to push this message out to the marketplace as hard as I can, as frequent as I can. I'm going to lose some people along the way, but I don't care because there's a lot more people out there. Okay. I'm just going to keep pushing. Okay. These are habits of the top 1%. I cover this in a whole chapter of the book, and I really go into how you get these habits, because a habit is something that can be acquired. Okay. It can be acquired. Okay. Now let's look at the signs of the amateur versus the signs of the professional. Okay. Now everybody tells me they want to make pro money, but they've still got amateur habits. Okay. And I used to coach in the prison system for 4 years, and I would show up and there was a secretary every day who would see me when I showed up in the prison system, and I was trying to get people out of prison and keep them out of prison. Tough. It was a tough gig. 4 years. And I would show up and this woman would yell at me and she would say, Coach Burt, you can't go little if you can't go big if little's got you. Every morning I come in, she said, Coach Burt, you can't go big if little's got a hold of you. And I'm like, that's good, girl. You cannot go pro if amateur has a hold of you. Okay. And it's true across the board. So what are habits of amateurs? Number one, they dabble and they never decide. This is frustrating to me because I feel like there's some things in my life I dabble with when I really just want to decide and say, look, I'm going to go all in. I'm going to make it as good as it can be. Like building the greatness factory is not dabbling. It's deciding. It's backed up by time, money, energy, commitment. Okay. So the amateur kind of dabbles with things, and because they dabble, they never reach mastery. Because they never reach mastery, they never make the pro money. So they're good at a lot of things, but they're not really good at that one thing that moves the needle significantly. And the pro, it's like, no. I'm going to go be the number one guy in the world, the number one female in the world at this. I'm not dabbling with this. If we're going to do it, we need to go all in and do it. And that's going to take probably a commitment of time, money, and energy, but specifically money. I can't tell you how many people I see that want to go pro, but won't invest any money to get the training they need, the coaching they need, the team they need, the people they need. So what they do is they just dabble, okay? And if there's somebody out there doing it at a much higher level than you, then it's proof that it's capable, okay? Number two, the amateur has a negative relationship with money. They have a negative relationship with money. Okay. They operate in scarcity, like they can't get it. It's hard. The pro, it's like George Jones said, and George and Tammy Wynette in that documentary, the only thing easier than losing money is making money. So the amateur has a negative relationship with money. They don't want to invest it. They don't want to use it. They're scared to death to lose it. Okay. Number three, they got low or fragile confidence. They got low or fragile confidence, typically because they have not put the reps in. They're not that confident because they have not put the reps in. Number four, they have no hard schedule. Okay. So what I'm saying is they're loose with time and energy. They're loose with time and energy. I have a hard schedule. Okay. And that schedule is not loose. It's focused on money generating activities, focused on moving toward our goals. There's prospecting, follow up. A lot of amateurs, one day focus, one day not focus, one day they work hard, one day they don't work hard. I think you would never find a top athlete that does that. Never. Okay. Next one. The amateur doesn't understand three types of returns. Number one, return on objective. Number two, return on investment. And number three, return on energy. So the pro gets it. There's an objective. I'm trying to drive the objective. If I drive the objective, it'll most likely drive the investment. Okay. To do anything, there's a return on energy. How much energy is it going to take to go pull this off? The pro is like, all right, how much energy? And they can sum it up very quick. It's going to take this much energy. I think it can produce this kind of outcome. So the amateur sees everything as equal. All relationships are equal and they're not. All time is equal and it's not. All returns are equal and they're not. No, there is an objective we're trying to drive. There's an energy level it's going to take to drive that objective. And if we hit it, it could return the investment. Okay. Very important to understand. And the last one is this: the amateurs can't bet on themselves. They cannot bet on themselves. Okay. Which is ultimately who you're betting on. Okay. Because you're going to see in just a second the habits of the pros. And they always bet on themselves. The pro believes you give me people and I can generate money. Okay. So here's the habits of the pros. Number one, they see money as energy. Money is just energy being circulated between people when problems are solved. Okay. Remember that money changes hands when problems are solved. Number two, the pro gets this: you don't need more money, you need more people. The people have the money. Number three, the pro makes decisions and moves quickly. They make decisions and they move quickly. Number four, the pro follows up like a freak of nature. They follow up and they follow up and they follow up and they follow up and they follow up until they bring it to a close. See, right now, just talking to you, all these people come up in my mind that could be followed up with. I get frustrated because there's so many, I can't even get to all of them. There's never a shortage of people or money. The pro gets this. Okay. The amateur doesn't get it. The amateur says things like this: well, man, who should I call? What should I say? What should I follow up and do? Okay. As long as there's problems and as long as there's ambitions, there will always be a way to make money. Okay. So pray drive is this pursuit in you to keep pursuing and keep pursuing and keep pursuing until you bring it to a close. Now, if I showed you the stats of follow-up today, okay, people are going 1.8 times in the follow-up. That's the national average. Now, how much grit and resilience is that? How many of you would have a big dream, a big goal, and go one time or two times and quit? Folks, that's not pray drive. Pray drive is I'm going to take it and see it all the way through to its natural conclusion, to its natural, to its logical conclusion. I had a guy challenge me on this one day. He's like, what do you mean logical conclusion? I mean, until you bring it to a close. There is a logical conclusion. Winning a championship as a coach is a logical conclusion. Closing a deal is a logical conclusion. Right? Setting a target and a dream and taking it all the way until you do it is a logical conclusion. Because his argument was there's no such thing as a logical conclusion. Yes, setting a target and moving to that target is a logical conclusion. That's really one definition of motivation. Okay, I'm going to see something through to its logical conclusion. I am motivated to see it all the way through to its conclusion. Okay. All right. Now, let me stop there. And the question is going to be for today: are you an amateur or are you a pro? This is really the question. And I'm telling you, it's going to take you committing, and it's going to take you following up until you see something through to its conclusion. So how many of you think today you figured out some areas that you can enhance? Okay. Pro on the making. I'm a pro. I like that. Good. So I want to see that. Now let's define pro money. My team knows this. A pro in money is earning at least $1 million of personal income. If you can show me that you got $1 million of personal income on your tax returns, that means that you have figured something out. Okay. You have figured something out. Okay. Well, let's just call that pro money. Anything above $1 million would be pro money. 250, great money. 500 is great money. And these are all great money. But I define pro as you're earning $1 million of personal income because that puts you in an elite category. Okay. So your homework assignment from today, okay, is to take something that you're not remarkably bold in. Maybe it's asking for the sale. Maybe it's your follow-up. Take something that you're not remarkably bold in. Take something that you typically don't see all the way through to its conclusion. And I want you to work on seeing this thing through all the way till you bring it to a close. Okay. That's going to be your homework assignment from today. Because I could give you, I got probably 15 names right here just during this call that I've thought of deals, partnerships, opportunities, recruits. I mean, it's never ending. You guys understand that, right? The pro sees everything as abundant. It's like the ocean. I can get a teaspoon or a 20-gallon bucket. I can get a teaspoon or a 20-gallon bucket. Okay. Thank you, Nick Fields. So there's so much follow-up to be done here. This is what drives me crazy. Remember the habits, ability to lock in, see it through, logical conclusion. See, that is a habit of the pros, man. They just keep coming. They just keep coming. They did all these studies during COVID about the top performers versus low performers. And the top performers just kept making money in every industry. The bottom performers struggled. The bottom performers played more golf and the top performers made more money. Okay. And it's just true. Some people said, look, it ain't happening. I'm taking a break. The top performers dug in and found a way to win. And that is Prey Drive. Okay. So let me post here in the links. Now, if you haven't purchased the book, we want to encourage you to do that. Craig, I want to make sure that people who are purchasing the book today, since the December 13th visioneering thing is over, I want you to automate that people can get the December 10th visioneering thing I did. There's 4 video series. I just spent a full day teaching this. So I want people to get that. Also, if you want to get me breaking down the masterclass for anybody that purchases the book, that's me 4 hours of me breaking the book down. And then you're going to get access to January 13th, where I do a full day at the lodge, plus 90 days of Prey Drive for lunch. So there's a lot of things you get. Gusty Goulas was on with me this morning. He wants to do a book club with his 400 people on that. I think it's great if you got a big team of people. I'd be happy to pop in there and do some Zooms. Go ahead, Craig.
Yep. Just one thing, guys. We noticed that we were sending some automation out to some folks that opted out. People were like, I didn't get it. It was actually one of our partners in one of the automations we were actually testing a funnel before. Hey, y'all, open up. I know we send you some stuff, but at the end of the day, it's just another piece that we're trying to just communicate with you. If, Coach is providing value left and right. I understanding, open a couple of emails if you're opted out. If you want to be opted back in, send me or Mark a message. Craig@CoachBurt.com, Mark@CoachBurt.com. We'll get you back in there if you feel like you're not getting our stuff. If you want to opt out in the future, that's fine. But I would say stay in until at least January for sure, because there's a lot of stuff that we're offering that's just free for you guys and get you there. So if anyone who's in the fliptheswitch.website wants to buy the book, you can go through that funnel today. We're just going to make sure that everyone gets, I don't know if I could beat you to it right now and make sure the automation gets there, but you should be getting most of those bonuses automatically. And if not, we'll make sure that we send a database blast to anyone who's actually ran through the funnel one time, no matter what, to give you all the bonuses Coach just said. So by end of day, if you have not received any of those bonuses, we'll make sure that you have it by end of day.
Yeah, and we'll get the replays out. We're going to do this every day. So thank you for all the people that are buying the books. I posted the link. Just go there, collect it. If you do buy it on Amazon, come back and send an email to support@coachburt.com and let our team know so you can get all the bonuses, okay? Because I really want you to get all of the stuff. And I really want you to be there. I really want you to be there January 13th, because that's going to be an incredible, day called activation. There's the link right there. Okay. All right, Coach Cindy, I'll make sure you send that, Craig at coachburt.com. Yeah, make sure we get you those bonuses because we really want to get that. Okay. All right. We got an assignment. We got homework. We got things to do. If you got a group of people you want me to speak to during this period or a book club, the book's coming January 31st. Trust me, I can't get it to you fast enough. I worked on that thing for 2 years and I'm very excited that it's coming out. It's going to be my life's work. And so that book will be out January 31st. And in the meantime, we're promoting and promoting and promoting. So God bless you guys. Thank you very much.